Shalom, shalom. You know, man, when it comes to manosphere content, you know, there's nuggets of truth all through that. But one thing the manosphere is leading the modern man away from is marriage. Now the focus is, let me look physically strong, you know, outside of marriage and single, rather than being spiritually strong or spiritually tough and mentally tough inside of marriage. Let's talk about it. All praise to the Most High Yah Shalom. Thank you for tuning in to another Righteous Spirit-filled episode. Today I'm back at it in them trenches, handling that kingdom business. Man, there are men out there that are desiring male wisdom, you know, male guidance. And if you're not careful as a man, you will come across, as a young man, you will come across this manosphere, you know, alpha male, you know, MGTOW content. And one thing they're not giving you is the will of the Most High Yah. You know, you got a lot of these men that say, you know, have a rotation of women, you know, get your body right, get a six pack, get your money up, get all of this. And I want you to understand, you know, a lot of these manosphere content creators, no matter how much physical toughness they have, the reason they avoid marriage, the reason they avoid long-term committed relationships with women is because they lack mental toughness and they lack spiritual toughness. You know, man, there's nowhere in the whole of the Bible that says, man, when you take a wife, it is an easy road, it is an easy journey. And I want men today to realize that, man, when you take a wife, man, you are making an investment. And you can't expect to get anything out of the investment if you don't put anything in. You know, a wife that is not being properly led will be self-governed, and it's not going to come out good. And a lot of men have found themselves in that situation where, you know, they called themselves with a woman, but they really wasn't leading her nowhere because they themselves weren't following Hamashiach. So why would she follow your lead if you're headed to nowhere as a man? And when it comes to spiritual toughness, I want you to think about, man, as a man, the fruit of the spirit. You got love, joy, temperance, meekness, you know, long suffering, patience. Man, the fruit of the spirit is everything that you need as a man to cope with day-to-day life in a marriage. That's what you need. And when you don't have it, you're going to walk away a lot quicker than you probably should, when you should be enduring. You know, when you speak to mental toughness, man, a single man can't even fathom the level of mental toughness that a married man that has spent time in that relationship has had to deal with or has. You can't even fathom, because on a daily basis, man, there is a demand for leadership. You've got somebody constantly watching your every move. The mental toughness of no matter how much money you save, it will never be enough, and you have to be financially resilient and fruit. Man, that requires a mental toughness, because, man, you can come home from a family vacation of spending $3,500 in Disney World, you know, and You walk in the house, you think you're gonna walk into a nice AC cooled house and your AC has went out. And at that moment, nobody in the family really cares if, you know, you spent the last bit of your money to take them on this vacation. All they wanna know is when is that AC getting fixed and what you're gonna do about it. Man, that takes a certain level of mental toughness to be able to get through some of these hurdles that single men don't have to deal with. They don't have to deal with that constant pressure. You know, a lot of these men in the manosphere, what they do is they make their life look appealing because they have physical toughness, but oftentimes you don't hear them speak to the spiritual resilience. You don't hear them speak to the mental toughness, the mental, you know, fortitude you need to actually survive a relationship. Why? Because a lot of their main goals is to fornicate and to not be in long-term committed relationships. You know, even though you might see a man who is married that looks tired, man, there's a great reward as a man for following the will of the Most High Yah. There are no blessings for a fornicator, but there are blessings for man that follow the will of the Most High Yah. And most modern men are going to either choose one road. You're either going to choose to be a fornicator or you're going to choose to marry. And I wanted to talk about this because, you know, man, the process of being inside of a marriage, dealing with issues with children, dealing with issues that come up in the household, dealing with issues in your wife, man, is nonstop. You don't get a day off. Leaders don't get a day off. There's a great book out there called Leaders Eat Last, man, and I encourage men to read that. But when you look at the role of a husband in the Bible, man, what makes you think that seems easy? And without the spirit that the Most High Yah wanted in you, you know, you will struggle as a husband to perform at the level expected. See, a lot of these manosphere men have tried to lower the standard of what the Most High Yah has already established by giving you something different that you can do. You can have a rotation. You can have as many women as you want. You can sleep with them. Don't take none of them serious. And what they're telling you is, man, you are pretty much in violation of Torah by fornicating, because when you enter a woman sexually, man, that's the consummation of marriage. And when you walk off and leave and don't fulfill a biblical duty to her, man, that's the violation right there. You know, but it takes mental toughness. It takes spiritual toughness. I want you to understand, man, like, leading a woman is no easy charge. And a lot of these men, what they try to do is use physical toughness to make it look like, you know, I've got a six-pack, I got my body good, to make it seem like they are apt to lead. And the reality is a lot of them aren't. A lot of them aren't. Man, I pray for the man that's trying to do marriage apart from the will of Yah, because you're going to be constantly drained. You have no spiritual ability to be resilient. Man, spiritual toughness and mental toughness are two things in life that will always supersede or always outperform physical toughness. You know, oftentimes your body will quit before your mind will. The Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, will not fail you if you're following it. Your mind and your physical body will quit before the Ruach HaKodesh, you know, fails you. Men need to strongly think about that before you digest all of this manosphere, men that have been hurt by women and really don't know how to heal from their own wounds, heal from their own ignorance, heal from their own lack of wisdom, but have come up with a coping mechanism that results in them living a lifestyle not the will of the Most High Yah. Close to the Yah Ministries, kicking it gun barrel straight.